Okay, so today we are going to be moving on from multiplying decimals and going to dividing decimals. Our can statement for today is today I can divide decimal dividends by multiples of 10, reasoning about the placement of the decimal point and making connections to a written method. So let's take a look at our first problem. So our first problem is 54 divided by 10. So I am going to switch to my whiteboard screen so I can work out this problem with you. So I have 54 divided by 10. Sorry, it's kind of off center. Oh man. It's 54 divided by 10. So let's think about how I could decompose 54. So 54, if I were to break this up, would be decomposed into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tens, and 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. So that is how I would decompose 54, but I need to divide that by 10. So now I would look at 10 divided by 10. Well, 10 divided by 10 is going to give me 1. And I would do that 5 times. And then I need to look at 1 divided by 10. Well, 1 divided by 10 means that I would need to shift my decimal to the left. So that means I would have 1/10, and I would do that 4 times. So if I were to write my answer as a decimal, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. So 5 ones and 1, 2, 3, 4 tenths. So that is how I would write 5 ones. So now we are going to take a look at our next problem. So our next problem is 5 4/10 divided by 10. Switch back to my whiteboard. Go ahead and try this one with me. So on your whiteboard or scratch piece of paper, go ahead and write 5 4/10 divided by 10. Okay, and now it would be a good time if you want to pause this video to pause it if you want to try this before I do. If you're not feeling comfortable yet, then feel free to just keep playing the video and follow along with me, but make sure you are doing this on your whiteboard or scratch piece of paper along with this video. So how I would write 5 4/10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 tenths. If you put the 0 in front of the decimal like this, that's fine too, but you don't have to. Then you're going to draw your arrow, and we are dividing by 10. And so like we said earlier, we're going to do 1 divided by 10 to give us 1/10. We do that 5 times. And then we are going to do 1/10 divided by 10. Well, 1/10 divided by 10 would mean I need to shift my decimal 1 to the left. So that is actually going to give me 1/100th. So I'm going to do that 4 times. So I'm taking 1/10 divided by 10. So then let's think about how I would write this answer. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths and 1, 2, 3, 4 hundredths. So I would write that 54 hundredths. So that would be my answer for this. Okay, so now let's take a look at dividing 54 hundredths by 10. So I'll switch back to my whiteboard again. So this time I have 54 hundredths divided by 10. Go ahead and pause this video so you can try this one on your own. So you're going to write using the value discs on your board 54 hundredths. So go ahead and pause and try this one on your own. You can check it with me once you're done. Okay, so how I would write this. Oh, sorry, that is really gonna be too small. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths. You don't have to have that 0 there. Yeah. And then I have 4 hundredths dividing those by 10. So we talked about how our decimal will need to shift. So a tenth divided by 10 gives me 100th. So I'll do that 5 times. And then 100th divided by 10, I mean my decimal will need to shift 1 to the left, giving me 1,000th. I need to do that 4 times. So then how I would write my new decimal is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hundredths. So I have tenths. I don't have any 5 hundredths, 4 thousandths. So that's how I write that decimal. You can have the 0 in front. Okay, so our next problem is going to be 54 divided by 90. And I know some of you are looking at this and going, oh my goodness, I have no idea how to do this. All we did was multiply things by 10. Well, I'm going to teach you a way for how we could look at doing this. So how I would start this problem is first I'd say, well, 90, that could decompose into 9 and 10. So then I could do this problem like I could the others. So I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 value discs that equal values of 10. So I have 50, and then I'd still need to do my 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would divide these by 10. So 10 divided by 10 we said was 1. I would do that 5 times. And then 1 divided by 10 we said was 1/10. And I would do that 4 times. So my answer for this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 5 and 4 tenths. So I know you're probably thinking, well, yeah, we just divided by 10, but what about that 9? Yeah, well, what about that 9? So now what we could do is I could rewrite 5 and 4 tenths as 54 tenths, just like this, and I can divide by So now I could look at this as 54 divided by 9. Well, I know that 54 divided by 9 is 6 because it gives me 54. So my answer would not just be 6, it would be 6/10. So if I were to rewrite this 6/10 as a decimal, it would be written like this. That would be my answer. Okay, so now let's take a look at one of the problem set problems. So we are looking at 1 2/10 divided by 6. So that would give me 2/10. But then if I were looking at 1 2/10 divided by 60, I would look at breaking this up to 10 and 6, and then going about solving this problem like we have been doing. So go ahead and try this one on your own. Go ahead and pause this video so that you can practice. So with this problem as well, I will show you another way that you could look at solving it. So I have 1 2/10 divided by 6. Well, I could also remove that decimal, since I know I can do 12 divided by 6, and that gives me 2, but I need to remember to add my decimal back in.